Hello, everybody. Here we are again with our WCONA live reading series. I'm Christina Fasonic, broadcasting from Wheeling, West Virginia, and I'm here with my partner in crime, Damian Dressick, who will be introducing our reader tonight, though I had to fight him for it because I have known our reader tonight, Bonnie Proudfoot, since 1996 when we were in graduate school together. And as I said in my little blurb about her a little bit ago, I've always thought of Bonnie as this Renaissance woman because I've never known anybody that could do glass sculptures and drawings and write and play the harmonica and do all of these amazing, amazing things like she does. And so I'm going to turn it over to Damian, who will do a more formal introduction of Bonnie, and then we'll have Bonnie on to read for us. So take it away, Damian.
Well, thanks, Christina. It is my great pleasure tonight to introduce Bonnie Proudfoot. She moved to Athens, Ohio from Fairmont, West Virginia. She has a creative writing MA from Hollins and one from WVU. She also received a fellowship for the arts from the West Virginia Department of Culture and History, and has published poetry and fiction in a lot of journals, including the Gettysburg Review, Kestrel, and Quarter After Eight, the lyric Sheila-Na-Gig, and her first novel, Goshen Road, was published by Swallow Press in January of 2020. A copy of that right here. I have not known Bonnie since 1996. I have actually never met Bonnie. I know her solely through her fiction, so I cannot vouch for her awesome character. I trust. I have another friend who has, but what I can vouch for is the awesomeness of Goshen Road. It is filled with lovely writing and engaging characters. Furthermore, it offers such a rich sense of place. Bonnie Proudfoot's Fair Chance, West Virginia is as dimensionalized as Lewis Norden's Arrowcatcher, Mississippi. I felt reading it that I could just walk right into it. But what really set it apart for me from other novels of place is the way the plot spans a big chunk of time. It's almost like being a lifelong resident of a town. And the novels being told from various points of view just increased its complexity in what feels like a very necessary and important way for fiction to place. It's just a killer novel. So we're really happy at WCONA Live to bring you Bonnie Proudfoot and her debut novel tonight.
Hi, Damian. Can you see me all right? Thank you for that wonderful introduction, and thanks, Christina, too. And thanks for having me, all the good folks at WCONA. And I'm delighted to read from my novel. It's going to be a little segment of an early part of one of the central chapters. Just to introduce it a tiny bit, there's a young couple, Lux Cranfield, Desi Price, and Lux isn't the first choice for Desi's mom, but Desi goes for Lux. So this first little bit I'm going to read is from a chapter spoken by Desi Price. So here we go. Here's what I mean when I talk about how it was for me and Lux. It was maybe a couple of months after his stitches came out, one of those steamy summer afternoons. His Jeep pulled up to the house. "Let's go for a ride," he said. We can cool off from this heat. You might want a towel." He parked at a pull-off where the kids used to swim. He had something else in mind, led the way along a footpath through the woods to a cool, shaded break in the trees beside a small waterfall. Just us, a rocky ledge, looking down onto a flowing rush of water that had carved out a deep, wide pool, a private swimming spot. Lux said, "Okay, you're gonna see something that ain't gonna be pretty." He stripped off his shirt. Then he stripped off his eye patch. I did not know where to look first. His face, chin, throat, and long arms were tanned, dark, ruddy brown. But his slim, lean chest was as white as a pillowcase, speckled with a few black hairs. That did look kind of funny. But his left eye, stitches had closed into scars around his eyelid, and it was sewed halfway shut. Lines of red shot toward his temple as if some great wolf had clawed his face. "It'll do," I answered, thinking that it might not be pretty, but it was real, and real was better than pretty. "Okay," he said, "you ready?" He turned his back, scrambled from branch to branch of a nearby pine tree, reached for a braided rope hanging about 20 feet above us, and worked his way down the rope, arm over arm, until he stood beside me, a foot or two away from the rushing waterfall. He stripped off his pants, stood in his boxers, said, "Catch the rope when I swing it back to you. Do what I do." I watched his arms grip the rope above a large knot near the base, saw his legs skip backward a couple of steps. Then he launched over the cliff. He swung his body way out, released the rope, hit the water with a splash, sunk clear under, and bobbed back up to the surface with a big old grin. On its own, the rope returned exactly where I was standing. I reached and caught it. I looked at the water below. Then it was up to me in my shorts and t-shirt. I looked down at Lux, paddling backward, making room for me to land in the deep spot. I'd never before clenched anything as tight as that rope. I hung on as high as I could, my arms trembling with the grip. I stepped backward, then ran forward, pushing out over the ledge, gripping tighter. I held on until my body was all the way out over the water and starting to swing back. That's when I knew I better let go. I opened my hands. It was just me out over the flat rocks on the bank of the stream, and if I didn't get it right, I'd know soon enough. Those rocks looked closer than I expected. My legs stretched out below. The rope swung loose above. I forced my legs to aim for the deep spot. The water was warm at first, then cold and really deep. My toes hit the sandy bottom and pushed off. My head rose out of the water. I took a breath, opened my eyes, and saw Lux paddling over. "Ain't that something?" he said with a broad smile. It was everything. It was all I ever needed. I never wanted to hear that girls did not do those things. I never wanted to sit on the sidelines and watch. How do you know when to let go of the rope? If you swing out too far, you hit the rocks and you could break bones. If you let go too soon, you hit muddy spots on the bank and you have to wash the muck off your legs, climb back up to that ledge, and do it right this time. Or you can grab the rope, swing out with all your strength, and when that thick piece of rope arcs enough, drop into the deep, and there you go. I know I have been lucky sometimes, unlucky other times, and the good Lord might have had something to do with that, although his lessons are not always clear. Don't tell me you love me so much you do not want me to jump. Show me what to do and give me the rope. That's it. So that's Desi kind of imagining she's talking to her mom.
That was really amazing. I wrote down this line, "Real looked better than pretty." I absolutely love that. So I'm looking forward to reading this. Now that we have a pandemic, I might actually get to all the books that are stacked up everywhere. And I know that Damien thought it was so excellent that it's definitely a book I want to read. I also know, Bonnie, that book has been brewing inside of you for years and years, and it's wonderful that it is finally in the flesh, so to speak.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
It's so fun to read.
And thank you, David.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Bob.
it's so fun to see you.
Yeah, I look forward to all the other Mondays and Thursdays at 8 o'clock. Larry Smith was wonderful. Both of you guys were fantastic. So I've got what's in store next?
Well, we are booked all the way through until the end of May, just about. But people are still sending in their requests to read. So I'll be sending out our list for next week pretty soon of who will be reading. So we're pretty happy about this. And we're grateful to all of you artists who have volunteered to read for our series.
Oh, this is a highlight. Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed for the conference, Christina, and I'll get to meet you then, Damien. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you, Damien. See you, Bonnie.
See you. Thanks again.
Yep.
Later.
Bye-bye.